Hey, check it out. It's Batman Return of the Joker. For some reason, I keep calling this Batman Revenge of the Joker. No, it's Return of the Joker for the NES. Great game. This one came from Malice Media, believe it or not. And I've been sitting on it for a year. So like, I got a box of games I still haven't fixed. Whenever I go to these video game conventions, oftentimes people will show up. I shouldn't say oftentimes, but yeah, sometimes people will show up and say like, hey, I got a couple games for your open cart surgery. And again, I only do open cart surgery every once in a while. So just when I get around to it is when I get around to it. But a game like this, I definitely want to get working. It's like well, according to price charting, like 60, 65 bucks, somewhere in there loose. Again, it's never about the value. However, it's kind of about the value. It'd just be cool to get this working again. It's actually a really fun game. So with this open cart surgery series that I've been doing for like a long time now, I don't have a tech background, I don't have an engineering degree, but I've been fixing games since like the 90s. Just mostly cleaning them, but sometimes I have to open them up and use a soldering iron and stuff. I never want to do that. If I can just get it working by cleaning it, even better. But we'll do what we can. So the first thing, before I even pop it in the system, and this goes for any game, this goes for any time I find a game at a yard sale, anytime I find a game at an estate sale, anytime I find a game even at a video game convention, I don't trust how long it's been sitting in their garage. I take it through and I clean it first before I even pop it in my own system, because I trust nobody. Q-tips and rubbing alcohol work great. I love using these 1-Up cards. This one happens to have my face on it, but you can just clean it. And seriously, like, these last longer than Q-tips, because Q-tips are basically like a one-time use each. But, you know, one of these I can use like 100 times or more. Here's the fluid thing. Okay, cool. I thought I brought it out. So, sometimes I don't always. So, these are these here. If you need your 1-Up cards for yourself, I have a link to my Shopify. You can grab yours. I'll even sign it for you. I have this one, which doesn't have my face on it, but it's one I've been using for a while. So I'm just going to keep using this one. Because it still works. It's still clean. Fluid on the fluid side. And you can open it up. I'm going to see if I can do it without opening up first. Again, it just fits right in there, just like that. Just a little scrubby scrub on this side. Some people, it's like, don't do up and down. Go like this, you know, well, whatever. Everyone has their own way of doing it. If you want to gatekeep how to clean Nintendo games, then you got more going on in your life than you should. Been cleaning games longer than some people have been alive, so there's that. Let's just pop it in, see what it does. Come this way. Now I'm playing this on a top loader, and any NES game will do. But just to prove that it does work, obviously it works. And if you're like, Choo Choo Mimic, well, this is the game that I worked on. There's me, along with Alistair. This game is available in my, again, on my Shopify store. You can grab yours today. But never mind the shameless plug. That was just proving that the NES does work. And then we'll pop in the Batman Return of the Joker. I almost said Revenge of the Joker. And simply by cleaning it, you would see instant gratification on this game, so it's not that. But we can try cleaning it even further. Let's open it up. You know, it's not even the end of the year, and I'm already starting to get a couple of invites for conventions to attend in 2025. I travel a lot for conventions, and it seems everywhere I go, the coffee isn't great. I'm glad a company like Aeropress made the Aeropress Go Plus. It's an all-in-one travel coffee system that couldn't be easier to do. The Aeropress coffee maker brews directly into its own tumbler that doubles as a storage container. Aeropress combines the best qualities of a few coffee brewing methods into one cup. A little French press, a little pour over, and a little espresso all into one cup. It is the best cup of classic coffee you'll ever drink. And over 55,000 5K reviews in over 60 countries, well, can't be wrong. And an incredible offer for you on the Go Plus. Visit aeropress.com/jrigs. That's aeropress.com/jrigs. And use promo code JRIGS to save 20% off your order. That's aeropress.com/jrigs. And be sure to use code JRIGS at checkout to save 20%. Time to say goodbye to crappy coffee and yes, to better adventures fueled by better coffee. Thank you, Aeropress, for sponsoring Open Cart Surgery. It is an 8-point... No, this is the wrong screwdriver. This is the one for Sega Genesis. This is the 4.5. I need the 3.8, which is right here, I betcha. Yep. All right, so 3.8 millimeter game bit, security bit, Nintendo screwdriver. You'll find them everywhere. In fact, oftentimes when you get one of these, it'll also come with the 4.5, which is good for Sega Genesis. But most Nintendo games, like not the black box games so much, like not the 5-screw games. Those takes like a jeweler's screwdriver. But this works for Game Boy, Super Nintendo, 64, a lot of other stuff too. So there you go. Just comes off like that. That's the whole game right there. And you know what? looks pretty good. It actually looks really clean. We're going to clean it even further, just to see. And for that, I'm going to use this stuff called Bright Boy. It's a brass polisher. I mean, some people use Brasso. A lot of people say don't use Brasso. I agree with that. But if the game's already broken, you know, why not? But I do like opening it up because what you don't want to do is use it when it's not open and then have the gunk get on the board and it's not cleaned and you put it in your system and then the stuff, like this kind of stuff, even though you can't see it, might congeal and harden inside of your console. Not a good look. And I've seen it happen. So I just need a Q-tip. A little bit will go a long way here. This stuff, this is the same bottle that I was gifted to by Gary from Rock Solid Productions years ago. And it's not even halfway done. Actually, it's probably about halfway done. But, again, I also don't do this all the time. No, it is not sponsored or endorsed. Well, I guess I'm endorsing it by talking about it, but it is not sponsored. So, if only I knew there a way to get a hold of them. I need a Q-tip. Where is it? I just had one. Like that. Just a little bit. That's all I'm going to use. Other people use more or less, I don't know. I'm so much of a little dab on each side. I use as little as possible, and that's probably just with my upbringing of, you know, don't use more than you have to. And I see things like people using Windex, and they're like, I was like, oh. I like spray it, the perfect spray, and then spray another one right next to that, and another which is fine. I mean, it's like, you know, I should be a little bit more liberal with how I spray stuff on whatever's, but you know, don't have to use as much, don't have to. That's all I'm doing. I'm just cleaning the pins here. Again, I'm just gonna do the back and forth motion. Some people might say, don't do that. And then I'm using the opposite side to get the gunk off. And on top of that, I'm still gonna use a 1-up card just to double check, you know what I mean? So you saw it looked pretty clean before. It kind of picked up, that's the wet side. There's the dry side. And it's not dirt that you're seeing, I don't think. It's like, you know, it's just, you know, it's like trace layer of connection. Has a little bit of a Q-tip stuck on there. I call them Q-tips. I think they're literally just, you know, cotton swabs or whatever, just the cheap brand. Doesn't matter. Whatever works. And then I'm going to do the dry side. Again, I hope this works. If not, we'll try maybe resoldering the flow points. Wait. You know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, I'll explain it in a moment. Let's see here. Okay, so FME7, love that. Okay, so let's try this. You can pop it in just like this. Not so much on a toaster model, but you know. So just kind of give it a little firm. There we go. And there we go. And still a whole lot of nothing. All right, we can try doing a little touch up of the solder points there. We can try just in case, because I don't see anything else going on with this. You know, really, like the capacitors look fine, and with something like this, with the top loader, oftentimes you don't even need the, like I've had games fire up without a capacitor. But yeah, that's really, I don't see anything else wrong with it. So yeah, let's just try touching up the solder points, see what happens. So with this, so most NES games are comprised, never mind the other chips up here and stuff, but these two are basically the game right here. There's a CHR and a PRG. CHR is like characters, graphics, stuff like that, and then the PRG is the game's programming. Sometimes the solder points that hold the pin into place and tell, okay, this pin of information goes to this part of the board, this pin of information goes to this part of the board. Sometimes the solder is on there for so long that it just kind of becomes like cement. You know, so it's like cold, stale, non-conducive, if conducive is the right word. So if you reflow it, it'll kind of breathe new life into it, if that makes sense. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to touch up the solder points on both of these, which is all of these pins. Just these ones right here. Just these ones right here. Everything else, again, looks fine, and I don't think the other pins would be an issue if it didn't work. Again, I don't think, because I don't know. However, let's give it a shot. The other bad thing is sometimes I'll do a board swap, where it's like, well, this board doesn't work, but the game still does. So I'll take these chips out and put them on another circuit board. The problem is, with Return of the Joker, this is specifically for this game. The only other game that uses a board like this is like Gimmick or Mr. Gimmick, which did not come out in the US. And if I had a European version, sure, but why would I wouldn't want to destroy that game. So, I'm just going to do these ones individually. And I know there are like solder holders and stuff like that too, or don't do what I'm doing and just touching up each individual solder point. And you'll know it when you'll see it. You'll literally see the solder kind of melt and reform. It looks like it turns into like mercury for a second, you know. It turns liquid, and then as soon as you pull it away, it'll harden up immediately. It's usually around now. I tell you about the conventions I'm going to soon, but I just did 4 conventions in a row and don't really have anything planned. Not a lot. I'll be at Game On Expo next year. It's unfortunate because Game On Expo is the same weekend as Midwest Gaming Classic, and I love both of them, but I already promised I'd be at Game On Expo. A couple of them are still in the air, like nothing officially announced, but when they are officially announced, I will let you know and post it on socials and stuff like that, and they will too, and I'll share it, you know. But there's a couple of them coming up, 2 of them overseas, which I would be very excited for, and those sound like it's a for sure thing, but again, nothing officially announced yet, so look out for one in one country, and look out for another in another country. And then whatever pops up here in the US. As of filming this, nothing officially announced or booked or anything yet. I have a couple of my friends are going to SAC Gamers Expo in Sacramento, California. I've been there a couple times and really enjoyed it. Wasn't planning on going this year, but a couple of my buddies are going to be there, Nintendo and Yoshi. And I was like, well, since they're going, maybe I'll just book a flight myself. Not be a guest, but just kind of show up and hang out. And sometimes that's fun too, just to like, just show up and not be behind a table, just kind of hang out, go to the arcade bar down the block from the hotel. That's always fun. If you're into pro wrestling, and you're in the Washington State area, I will be at Relentless, not wrestling or anything, just as a spectator, but it's a really good show, and I would encourage you, if you're, like, especially in the Spokane area. But if you're in Washington State, Relentless in Spokane, it is some high-quality, live pro wrestling. You gotta support the indie wrestlers. Just like I support my indie video games, just like I support my indie projects, you know. I'll be at that show, and then there is Reactivate. That's in Tri-Cities, Washington, Richland, Washington. And if you didn't know, I am the ring announcer for that one. Again, if you're in the Tri-Cities area, Eastern Washington, check out Reactivate. It's always a good show. A dream come true for me. And I have no idea if this will actually work. It has worked in the past, and it's a quick, it's not easy. I'm just using a hot soldering iron here. And it's not an end-all be-all. A lot of Game Boy games work this method. A lot of Game Boy games I've got to work again using this. Some NES games, not all of them, but some NES games. It's like, well, since I'm already here, let's check it out. And I can't even do a board swap for something like this. And everything else looks fine. So I don't know what even else it could be. What even else it could be. I don't know. Let's find out. I have gotten a couple of these to work in the past. I could use a win. Come on now. I don't know. Not sure what else it could be. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm missing something.